The small cafe was buzzing with life. People chatted, laughter spread joy, and coffee was brewing. Yet, in one corner sat Julian, staring at the tabletop. Even with so many people around, Julian felt alone. They watched as groups of friends connected easily, sharing stories and smiles. This scene was a typical social gathering, a place where most hoped to make new friends. Yet Julian's heart raced with nerves. Finding the right words felt hard. Many people knew this feeling. The fear of being in a busy place and feeling completely out of place. Social pressure grew with each passing moment. Julian's mind swarmed with thoughts. What if someone spoke to them? What if they fumbled the words or the meaning? They hoped for connection, yet feared rejection. As laughter echoed from nearby tables, Julian felt invisible. They wanted to jump into the conversations but felt stuck. The fear of not fitting in made them retreat further into their shell. This moment of isolation stirred deep feelings of self-doubt. Should they smile? Should they try to speak? The noise around seemed loud, but Julian heard only the beating of their anxious heart. Everyone knows moments like this. They can happen anywhere. Perhaps it was at a work party or a friend's birthday getaway. It might be at a family gathering or even standing by the school lockers. Anyone can feel shy in different social settings. These experiences often become sources of anxiety. It becomes hard to join a conversation or voice a thought. Many have felt the weight of being alone in a crowd. It makes one question if they are worth talking to at all. For Julian, this cafe was not just a place for coffee. It was a reminder of struggles. It was a space where people met, but also a spot that highlighted social barriers. The challenge of meeting new people turned into a daunting task. It showed how social skills are essential for everyone, not just a select few. Everyone has to learn. Everyone needs practice. These struggles are part of being human. They lead to the desire for improvement. Improving social skills is about growth. It requires bravery to step outside the comfort zone. The fear of rejection can be overwhelming, and many give in to it. But overcoming such fears can lead to stronger connections. Others face their challenges as well. This makes Julian's experience relatable. Many share this journey, even if they don't talk about it. Through this situation, we see how social anxiety is widespread. It touches young people and adults alike. The desire to connect can drive us to improve our skills. Julian's story speaks for many who seek to better their social interactions. They want to learn how to ask for what they need. This journey is just beginning, but it offers a pathway to friendship and understanding. Julian sat in the cafe, feeling the weight of uncertainty. Just moments ago, they had watched others laugh and connect, immersed in their world. Now, Julian felt trapped in their own thoughts. Their palms were slightly sweaty, and their heart raced with each noise that surrounded them. In this moment, Julian's struggle was real. They wanted to be a part of the fun but did not know how to join in. Even as they sat there, longing for friendship, a wave of self-doubt washed over them. Despite their creativity and kind heart, Julian found social situations overwhelming. Simple conversations felt like climbing a tall mountain. What do I say? Will they care? These questions looped through Julian's mind. They wanted to speak up but often got quiet and shy. The thought of standing up and walking over to someone was daunting. They felt like everyone else had the skill to connect, while Julian stumbled in silence. This cafe, bathed in chatter and laughter, only deepened their struggle of feeling odd and alone. In moments like these, even basic interactions seemed like a huge task. The truth was, Julian had faced similar social challenges many times. When friends invited them to gatherings, sometimes anxiety made them hesitate. They'd think about how to keep a conversation going or wonder what others might think. The fear of awkward silence haunted them. Julian often stayed at home instead of venturing out to social scenes. Their heart craved connection, yet self-doubt always pulled back. Even though Julian wanted to reach out to others, their mind said no. Moving to a new city brought many new faces and more new experiences. The fresh start seemed exciting, but the fear of rejection grew. Each unfamiliar face felt like a reminder of past struggles. Many evenings, they thought about joining a club or going to events, but that fear held them back. The worry of standing alone in a room filled with people made them stay at home instead. It felt easier to avoid discomfort than face it head-on. Despite these struggles, Julian held a glimmer of hope. They realized that many people shared similar fears. Connecting with others was not as easy for everyone as it seemed. The more Julian noticed this, the more they felt less alone. Understanding that their feelings were common pushed a fire in their heart. They began to wish for positive change. With small steps in mind, Julian found some inspiration. They thought about starting simple conversations with the barista or chatting with someone at work. This new focus gave them a little spark of courage. As they sat in the cafe, lunchtime hustle and bustle made them smile gently. If they could talk to one person today, it would make a difference. Instead of dwelling on their worries, Julian felt a little excitement about overcoming their fears. Embracing the journey of growth began to feel possible. With this shift in mindset, Julian knew that their story was just starting. The path might be challenging, but it was theirs to take. They wanted to become part of the vibrant world they saw around them. Recognizing their struggles was just the beginning, and Julian held onto the belief that change was within reach. The next day, Julian decided it was time to take action. They felt excited but also scared. They arrived at the cafe again, ready to try talking to someone. As they leaned against the counter, heart racing, they thought about the barista with the friendly smile. "Today is the day," Julian whispered to themselves. When it was their turn to order, they smiled and said, "Hi, how is your day going?" The barista replied cheerfully, but Julian's words felt clumsy. When the barista asked if Julian wanted their usual drink, they quickly nodded. A wave of fear washed over Julian. What do I say next? They struggled to keep the conversation going. The barista moved swiftly to prepare coffee, leaving Julian feeling lost. The warmth of the cafe felt more like pressure. Julian could barely hear the barista's friendly comments over the sounds of coffee grinding and cups clinking. After receiving their drink, Julian took a seat at a nearby table. They watched as others conversed effortlessly. A group of people talked and laughed, and Julian felt a pang of jealousy. Will I ever fit in? Their thoughts spiraled. Trying to enjoy their coffee was impossible, with that feeling of being an outsider weighing heavy. Even their small attempt at connection seemed to end awkwardly. Determined, Julian remembered a local book club meeting happening the following week. They thought this could be a great chance to meet new people. It sounded so promising. Julian signed up online but felt their excitement fade as the date approached. The idea of talking to strangers put anxiety back in the driver's seat. Suddenly, the easy step of joining a group felt like climbing a steep mountain. What if they always stumbled over their words? Finally, when the book club day came, Julian arrived at the meeting spot. The beautiful cafe had a cozy feel, but it felt different. This time, the air was heavy with nervous energy. Walking in, Julian saw a lively group already gathered and chatting. It felt like being in a warm place but also the coldest. Their heart thumped loudly, and their palms turned clammy. Finding a chair, Julian took a deep breath. The moment everyone began talking about the book only made the unease grow. Some members exchanged insights with confidence, while Julian tried to offer a thought but hesitated. When their turn came, the words were stuck. I liked the part," they stuttered, stumbling over the phrases in their mind. Laughter softly echoed as someone's remark about that part grabbed attention. It was like a small wave pushing Julian down further into their seat. The uneasy feeling settled in even deeper. The group had talked quickly, leaving Julian behind. The struggle to fit in heightened and doubt crept back in. Why can't I just say what I think? Those words weighed heavily on their heart. Instead of finding a connection, Julian felt more isolated. Everyone seemed to wrap themselves in confidence. With each passing moment, fear took control again. The desire to connect was still there, yet the words fled. The crowd felt less inviting, and Julian's excitement shifted into defeat. The start of something hopeful turned into a lesson in vulnerability. They left the book club feeling like they had missed an important chance. Going home, the thoughts buzzed around like bees. I am trying, but it's so hard. But they also thought, I cannot give up. This internal fight for confidence continued. marking the way forward in Julian's journey. Days passed after the book club, and Julian felt a weight on their shoulders. They thought about how they nearly had a chance to connect with people but felt it slip away. Each moment was heavy with disappointment. That evening, they sat alone in their room, replaying the gathering in their mind. Why is this so difficult? Julian wondered. Looking out the window, they saw the sun setting, painting the sky in warm colors. But inside, their heart felt chilly. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. It was Jamie, a friend from work. Jamie wore a bright smile and brought a small box of cookies. They knew Julian loved cookies. "I thought we could share some," Jamie said cheerfully, entering the room. Even as the cookies smelled good, Julian felt low. "I can't do this," they muttered, feeling defeated. But Jamie sat down and continued to chat. "I know things have been hard for you lately. Do you want to talk about it?" Their voice was warm and inviting. Julian felt a spark of something, like a turning wheel within. They hadn't talked openly about their struggles before. Yet, as Jamie shared their own fears of not fitting in at social events, Julian started to listen. Jamie shared how they also felt unsure while meeting new people. In that moment, a realization hit Julian. Social anxiety was something many faced. It was not just their burden alone. Seeing Jamie's kindness and understanding opened a door in Julian's heart. They felt encouraged but also uncomfortable. "What if I never get better?" that voice whispered in their mind. But another part said, "This is your chance." Julian finally spoke and shared their thoughts about the book club and their struggles to connect. They could feel a mix of vulnerability and courage flowing through them. Jamie nodded and offered advice. "When I feel scared in a new group, I focus on one person. I try to ask about their opinions or experiences. It makes it easier to talk." For the first time, Julian realized that perhaps making small steps could help. Rather than facing the crowd alone, they could break it down into smaller parts. With that thought, hope began to slowly replace doubt. "Maybe I need to try that," Julian responded, feeling lighter. Jamie smiled and said, "You have a lot to share. You just need to find your rhythm." The ideas in Julian's mind began to shift. They could see a path forward. Instead of feeling trapped in a box, they could step out and take action. They wanted stronger connections. As the conversation flowed, a fire ignited inside Julian. Most importantly, they realized it was all about practice. Each moment of fear was a chance to grow. They committed to trying new strategies in social situations. "I need to change. I want to change," Julian declared softly, but strongly. This moment marked the beginning of a new journey. Everyone makes mistakes, and this was part of their growth. With Jamie's support, Julian finally felt ready to take the next step in overcoming their struggle. Hope replaced fear. They could choose to embrace the power of connection and learn along the way. This realization was a turning point. Their heart gradually filled with gratitude for the friendship and for embracing change. It was a reminder that growth is possible when we share our experiences with others. With newfound determination, Julian felt ready to put their plans into action. They knew that change would not happen overnight, but small steps could lead to a bigger journey. The next day at work, Julian focused on a simple goal: starting small talk with a colleague. The idea felt both exciting and nerve-wracking. As they prepared their mind, they thought about Jamie's advice. Talking to one person at a time could make it manageable. When Julian entered the break room that morning, they spotted Mona, a friendly coworker arranging cups and snacks. Her smile was warm and inviting. Taking a deep breath, Julian approached her. "Good morning, Mona. How is your day?" Their voice, though shaky, held new hope. Mona looked up with a bright smile. "Good morning, Julian. My day is great, thanks. How about you?" The exchange felt like magic, and for the first time, Julian felt a spark of confidence. The conversation flowed as Julian asked about what Mona was working on this week. They listened intently, genuinely interested in her project. Julian made a conscious effort to maintain eye contact. It felt challenging but encouraging. Each nod and smile they received reinforced the bond. Mona's enthusiasm made it easy to stay engaged. Gone were the disappearing ideas and heavy fear of silence that had once echoed in their mind. Afterward, Julian could hardly believe how well it had gone. There was a glow of happiness inside that they hadn't felt in so long. They learned that a few simple questions could build connection. This small interaction made Julian excited to try more. Feeling the energy of success, they hoped to apply these skills in other situations. The next challenge awaited Julian at the following book club meeting. Preparing for the second round was no easy task. As they stood in front of their mirror, they whispered words of encouragement to themselves. "You can do this again. Just take it one step at a time." When Julian entered the cafe for the meeting, their heart raced, but today felt different. They took a moment to breathe, reminding themselves of the fun they had with Mona. With a small smile, they decided to greet a few familiar faces before quieting down for the discussion. As more people arrived, Julian made a point to initiate conversation. This time, they focused on one person at a time rather than worrying about the group. "Hi, Brian. Did you finish the part about the main character?" Julian asked, approaching a fellow member who looked thoughtful. Brian nodded and started to share his ideas. Feeling relaxed, Julian listened more actively, asking follow-up questions to show they cared. This time they spoke clearly, and they embraced the feeling of getting to know someone better. As the conversation progressed, Julian's confidence grew. They noticed that not every word had to be perfect. Conversations had flows and rhythms, much like music. The sound of laughter filled the air again, and Julian felt integrated into the group rather than just an observer. Every positive moment built a stronger connection inside Julian. By practicing simple social skills, they were paving a brighter path forward. Every smile exchanged and every question answered reflected a commitment to change. They realized that progress could happen bit by bit, one conversation at a time. This new realization flourished. Julian felt truly alive as they decided this could be just the beginning. Even small steps could create meaningful connections, reinforcing their desire to continue moving forward. Change had begun within them. As the weeks passed, Julian continued to practice the social skills they had learned. Each new experience felt easier than the last. With every chat at work or interaction in the cafe, a little more confidence flowed through them. They approached small talks like stepping stones on a riverbank. Each conversation grew as they immersed themselves, exploring new relationships along the way. The fear that once stopped them now took a back seat. On one sunny afternoon, Julian decided to join a lunch gathering organized by colleagues. Seating was casual around small tables, laughter filled the air, and their heart raced with excitement and nerves. Yet, this time, instead of feeling like an outsider, they settled into the friendly atmosphere. Grabbing their plate, they approached a group of coworkers they had never spoken with much. "Hi, mind if I join you?" Julian asked with a smile. "Of course. We were just talking about our favorite books," one coworker said, warmly inviting Julian in. As they shared stories of their favorite books, Julian listened carefully and laughed softly at amusing moments from the tales. The conversation flowed naturally, and they felt the connection growing stronger. They began to notice that Julian also shared suggestions, contributing thoughts they hadn't expected to voice. In those moments, Julian reflected on how different this felt from just a few weeks ago. Recalling the days of doubt and anxiety, they awoke to a future they had not imagined before. Trying new behaviors and methods of connection unlocked a joyful side of themselves. Realizing their voices mattered brought a new sense of empowerment. Each interaction, whether brief or lengthy, added a mark on their progress chart. The moments made friendship feel reachable, alive, and fulfilling. Julian also took time for self-reflection, especially when returning home after these gatherings. They carried a small notebook with them, noting experiences and feelings. Jotting down positive moments or challenges they faced helped put things into perspective. Julian built self-awareness by recalling small successes and how to handle tricky situations more effectively, solidifying their growth. "Today felt great. I didn't freeze up like before, and I made new friends," they wrote one night. The change didn't go unnoticed. Friends, colleagues, and even Jamie remarked on Julian's growth. "You seem brighter and more open, Julian. It's nice to see you smiling," Jamie said during lunch. The compliments felt encouraging, highlighting the visible steps Julian was taking. They now felt at ease as conversations opened seamlessly. Taking control of their journey energized Julian even further. Each moment of building connections served as a reminder that change was not only possible but also exciting. The feelings of warmth and belonging grew stronger. Julian remembered that everyone faces uncertainties, and admitting those feelings allows room for healing and growth. They were no longer just going through the motions. Instead, they actively participated in their life and saw every new connection as a blessing. Confidence surged through Julian, knowing they influenced their journey. When social moments feel hard, they could embrace them, aware that the feelings of connection warm the heart. With each new day ahead, hope sparked anew. Each conversation now was not just a moment but a piece of a larger tapestry that they were weaving throughout their life. Julian took pride in this progress, ready to continue crafting stronger connections. The changes in Julian's life brought new strengths. They felt more confident, but another challenge awaited. At work, their boss had always been difficult. They often made harsh comments, targeting mistakes in front of everyone. Julian had tried to ignore it, but it hurt deeply. That day, Julian entered the office with a new mindset. They felt pride in their progress, but the pressure from their boss weighed on them. It was time to confront the toxic behavior. As Julian arrived at their desk, the morning meeting began right away. The boss seemed tense and angry. "What happened to your report? It is not good enough. Do better," he snapped, his words harsh and sharp. Julian felt anxiety building up inside. But today felt different. They no longer wanted to be treated like this. Inspired by the changes they had embraced, Julian raised their hand. Their heart raced, but they spoke up, trying to find strength. "I'd like to share some feedback about how we communicate," Julian began. The room fell silent as the boss raised an eyebrow in surprise. Julian continued, "I feel it's important to have discussions without cutting down each other." Their voice was steady, having made the pivotal decision to stand their ground. Julian's words meant standing up not only for themselves but for the entire team. The boss looked taken aback and seemed unsure how to respond. Some colleagues turned their heads to listen. They rarely saw anyone challenge the boss, and curiosity filled the air. The tension became thick, and Julian felt the anxious energy intensifying. Yet they continued. "I want to create a workplace where we can grow and support each other instead of feeling criticized." The room buzzed with mixed reactions. Some stared at Julian in shock and admiration, while a few others whispered uneasily. The change in Julian's behavior drew attention, and the message was clear. They chose a healthier environment for everyone. After a long pause, the boss finally replied, attempting to regain control. "This is how I run things here. Do what you're told." But Julian could hear the cracks in his tone. Instead of retreating, Julian felt a new level of resolve. "I understand, but treating each other with respect is part of our success," they answered firmly. The support surrounding them grew stronger as other coworkers nodded in agreement. Seizing this moment felt liberating, and Julian could sense a shift starting in the company culture as well. Days passed, and Julian noticed more colleagues beginning to share their own worries with the boss. The change brought unexpected unity among the team. Instead of fear, conversations thrived. Yet some resisted this newfound boldness. A few long-term employees still supported the toxic atmosphere, unsure about Julian's approach. They argued that change would make work harder. But Julian remained steadfast, focusing on the friendships built around support and kindness. They encouraged others to speak about their thoughts, and a small group began to blossom. Lunch breaks transformed into safe spaces for communication, with colleagues sharing hopes, challenges, and ideas. These moments became valuable, igniting further progress. Recognizing their strength felt both rewarding and challenging. Some people resisted change, fearing what it meant for their routine. But Julian saw that every new boundary was a chance for healthier relationships. They began to remind themselves that change takes time, but they were on the right path. Instead of feeling worn down, Julian was in control of their progress. Each stand brought them closer to a workplace of support and understanding. This journey was showing them that winning back self-worth and setting limits were essential steps towards a brighter future. In the days following Julian's bold stand against their boss, a small but meaningful change began in the office. People started to speak up more, sharing opinions and concerns more openly. This was a remarkable shift from the silence that had often filled the room. One afternoon, during a busy meeting, a colleague named Sam stood up just as Julian had done. Sam faced the boss and referred back to Julian's previous comments. "I think we all can feel stressed under pressure," Sam said. "Maybe we should try a different way to help each other succeed." Julian watched in awe as support grew among their peers. Sam's words ignited the confidence in others. Following Sam's courage, some coworkers began to agree, voicing their ideas one after another. Julian felt warmth fill their heart. Each supportive word became a testament to the meaningful change unfolding before them. That evening, Julian received an email from the boss. He requested a review of a new project they had been working on. It felt daunting, but instead of panic, Julian found a sense of determination. Remembering their journey, they decided to handle it with both care and confidence. "I can do this," Julian told themselves, focusing on one step at a time. To prepare, Julian created a detailed outline of everything needed for the project. They organized ideas into clear sections. Breaking tasks into manageable steps made everything seem simpler. Knowing they had the right skills made even the biggest challenge feel doable. They even wrote down potential concerns that could arise, preparing responses to address those fears quickly. This preparation made Julian feel ready. The day of the project review arrived. Julian walked into the room feeling focused and calm. As they began, explaining their ideas clearly helped the team understand each point. They used the visual aids they created to present facts and figures. When questions came, Julian felt a rush of excitement, not fear. They answered calmly, ready to engage in meaningful discussions. To their surprise, the boss seemed impressed. Instead of harsh criticism, he offered constructive feedback that included learning moments to improve future work. It was encouraging to feel respected. As they finished the presentation, Julian sensed they were not alone anymore. Their colleagues clapped and smiled, a warm wave of support washing over them. This was their moment, and it felt like a significant win. Later, Sam approached Julian, smiling brightly. "You did an amazing job. I think we really made a difference," Sam said. Julian felt a rush of happiness. This simple connection affirmed all the progress they had made. They embraced these moments of camaraderie, feeling reassured that their journey was worthwhile. This shared victory over fear solidified Julian's growth. As they walked home that evening, a sense of peace washed over them. They realized their voice mattered. When individuals come together, they create a powerful ripple effect. Julian learned that small but meaningful wins make a big difference in personal growth and well-being. Reflecting on this journey, Julian thought about how to continue improving. Every step taken brought them closer to the workplace they envisioned. The warmth of encouragement from colleagues would lift them higher, strengthening their abilities to tackle life's challenges. Each day became an opportunity to connect, support others, and seek positivity. Remember that every little action counts. And as you embrace stepping forward, your journey can shine even brighter. You have the power to grow every day just like Julian did. Weeks turned into months, and Julian felt the changes in their life blossom beautifully. The work environment transformed into a more supportive place. With each passing day, coworkers worked together instead of apart. The confidence that Julian gained from standing up to their boss and expressing their feelings spread like sunshine. Now, when meetings were held, everyone seemed more willing to share ideas. People introduced suggestions, and productive discussions filled the air. Julian felt proud to be part of this positive shift. Their relationships at work bloomed as they joined in on lunch breaks and brainstorming sessions. Trust grew among coworkers. Julian began forming deeper connections. They not only listened but actively engaged in conversations with new friends. This open-mindedness allowed Julian to bond with others, and laughter echoed with each interaction. Julian even felt empowered enough to share stories from their own life, noticing how others responded with genuine interest. Outside of work, Julian embraced these social skills with friends and family as well. Simple outings turned into meaningful experiences. Group chats became lively as Julian asked for opinions and learned more about those who mattered. They approached conversations with a newfound warmth and confidence. Connecting became easier with every small effort they made. Friendships felt alive and real, where deeper discussions took place, moving beyond small talk. One evening, Julian enjoyed a casual dinner with Jamie and other friends. The conversation flowed smoothly. Sharing laughter and support, Julian looked around the table, feeling grateful. "I never knew I could form such strong connections," Julian said, realizing how far they had come. The warmth of companionship filled their heart. They all nodded in agreement, appreciating the fun and joy they created together. Slowly, the self-doubt that once loomed over Julian began to fade away, and self-acceptance took its place. They recognized the importance of social skills not just in work but in life itself. Confronting difficult emotions and drawing on support from others led to personal growth. Moving beyond comfort zones felt normal. It became a part of who they were. One morning, Julian volunteered to lead the team's new project. Instead of hesitation, excitement filled their being. They envisioned the entire team working together and felt ready to take the lead with their new skills. The support of colleagues energized them. Together, they planned the upcoming presentation, leaving no detail untouched and ensuring everyone felt heard. Walking into that conference room, Julian felt a wave of pride. They were no longer just surviving, they were thriving. Reflecting on their journey, Julian understood the power of resilience. They transformed fear into confidence and isolation into a sense of belonging. This empowered perspective allowed them to embrace every chance, see obstacles as opportunities, and navigate life's challenges fearlessly. With practice, determination, and a supportive community, transformations were possible. As the story wrapped up, Julian became a true example of strength through vulnerability. The path to social connections was not always easy, but every effort led to hope and inspiration. They proved that anyone could improve their social skills and deepen bonds. The journey may feel long at times, but with each step taken, connections deepen and joy multiplies. Empowered by their experiences, Julian was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing they had the skills to create a fulfilling and connected life. With every passing day, Julian continued to embrace their newfound confidence. Sense of belonging and community flourished both at work and home. Work seemed to bring more joy as the team collaborated with new energy. Projects became clearer, and deadlines felt more achievable. Their manager even noticed the change. "Your leadership is inspiring, Julian," he said during a meeting. Hearing those words filled Julian with pride. They realized how important it was to create a positive workplace. One afternoon, as Julian worked on a milestone project, an email popped into their inbox. A well-respected company had contacted them about an exciting job opportunity. It was a role that blended their skills with their passions. The email invited them to an interview. For the first time, Julian did not feel immediate fear or doubt. Instead, they felt ready to take on this new challenge. Reflecting on their growth, they knew they could navigate the interview and present themselves confidently. In preparation, Julian followed through on what they had learned. They practiced the key points they wanted to share. Writing down their experiences helped outline what made them a good fit. Remembering to breathe and visualize a successful meeting boosted their morale. These simple steps helped ease their nerves, allowing them to approach the opportunity with excitement instead of fear. On the day of the interview, Julian arrived early and took the time to center themselves. They walked into the building with a calm heart, reminding themselves of their achievements and skills. Sitting across from the hiring manager, Julian felt poised. They spoke about their experiences honestly and mentioned how teamwork transformed not only their work environment but also their approach to challenges. When questions came, Julian responded clearly, drawing from past experiences. They could see the manager's interest growing. It was refreshing for Julian to feel in control. After the interview, they left with a beaming smile. The hard work and courage they showcased began to shine through. Regardless of the outcome, they knew the journey itself held significant value. Weeks later, an email landed in their inbox once more. Excitement burst inside Julian's chest as they read the words, "We are pleased to offer you the position." This moment felt monumental, a reward for embracing the changes they so adamantly sought. They welcomed a future full of growth, learning, and connection. Reflecting on this journey, Julian understood that no difficulty would hold them back. They had learned how to assert themselves, build authenticity, and navigate tricky situations. These skills served as vital tools to succeed in work and life. The interest in people grew deeper, providing fulfillment. As they moved forward, Julian planned to share their story with others facing similar struggles. They envisioned running workshops focused on building social skills, a dream they could cultivate with passion and experience. By helping others navigate their challenges, Julian could ignite their courage and growth. The future brightened in many ways, embracing the idea that learning has no end. With strong communication and connection at heart, each step became easier. Learning and growing was a journey that continued beyond their job. Julian felt a new energy in tackling whatever life would bring. They knew the skills they built were merely the start, and opportunities lay ahead. With a heart full of hope and resilience, Julian looked forward to their adventures, knowing they held the tools to forge their path. The road ahead may hold challenges, but through the power of connection and self-belief, they were ready to embrace each moment. Every interaction held the potential for growth, and Julian stepped into the bright future with confidence and determination.